speaker here today is a traveler and a vagabond at heart. She has been to many diverse parts of the world from Antarctica to the hills of Laos and found ways to live a simple and a sustainable life. Today, she is working on a farm which has been in her family for generations and trying to restore the soil while diversifying the orchards and growing climate adaptive crops like millets and following permaculture principles in her work. Her interest in food is not only limited to being self-sufficient, but spreading the word and awareness of healthy food to many. So from the world of cycling to the world of food, let's hear it for our next speaker, Madhu.
Hyderabadi by birth, but I grew up in Delhi and Goa, so a lot of my influences come from lots of different parts of the world. And basically, I wanted to just share some of the journey that I went through and how I came to be from having a backpack in my hand to pastas in my hand now. So it's a journey that spans about 5 years back. I came back to India, started traveling a lot, and I've traveled about 23 countries in the last 12 years. And some of my journeys have brought me here. A lot of the lessons I learned are from that single backpack. I learned how to live a very, very, how do you say, minimalistic life. In fact, I threw away some of my clothes the first time I was carrying it because I had to carry them. So that was about 9 months that I traveled in Southeast Asia and India. So what I wanted to actually share with you is connecting some dots. And as I was traveling, there were a lot of things that I saw which were very common, either in Europe, either in Asia, or in India. They were pretty common things that I saw through climate change effects. So, and how I applied that. In fact, I did a lot of travel writing after coming back to India, and then working for reviews of places which had eco-friendly options for you to when you go traveling. So they would actually give you better options. And then finally I actually came back and ended up on my farm. These are some of the images from my travel. I'm a photographer as well. From Antarctica, Holland, Argentina and Bangladesh. And in fact you might say, what is the connection between all of them? All of these places are getting affected by climate change. The ice sheets in Antarctica are melting. They will melt. And basically the same thing is happening, the glaciers as well. So global temperatures in Antarctica, glaciers in Argentina. Holland is one of the most lower lying area in Europe, and they actually are going to get affected first. Bangladesh, as you know, a lot of deltas, a lot of issues with their floods, and they will be one of the first climate change refugees that we will see on this planet. Sri Lanka, same thing, the island diversity is going away because they're a very, very small country. In India, from the nomads of Ladakh to the fisheries of Goa, the run of Kutch and the farmers of Sundarbans, they face the same situation. So this is Sundarbans where there was Cyclone Aila. I was documenting it for an NGO. In Ladakh, you actually see pastoral life reducing because the pastures are now reducing because the temperatures have increased. And the same thing in Goa, where small fisheries are being taken over by bigger trawlers, but the fish have reduced as well. So all of this actually made me realize that maybe I could be a part of the solution. I think being a consultant for 12 years, you come to a point where you've listened to the problems too many times and you kind of say, okay, fine, let's talk about solutions. So what I did was actually came back to the farm. I'm a 5th generation on the piece of land that I'm farming. The land was in our family, so my grandfather's grandfather's time. So I took stock. I talked to some of the elders in the family. I talked to some of the elders in the village on what is that we used to grow. We have stopped actually growing what the land needs to grow. In this region of Telangana, there is no rice paddy fields in my grandfather's or beyond that. It started in the 70s with the Green Revolution. And One of the things we have lost is biodiversity. If I tell you that there are 20,000 varieties of mangoes, that there are 750 types of pulses, we've lost all of that. So I'm trying to bring that back with diversity on the farm. We are now a mango orchard primarily, but I'm changing that to, guavas and chikus and whatever. But I'm not putting exotic fruits. Whatever grows will grow here better. Millets are my passion. I believe in them completely. If you haven't heard the word millet, I'm sure you've heard the word jowar or bajra or kurra or sama. These are the things that we are growing on the farm now. They take 1/3 to 1/5 less water than rice and wheat. So if I grow them and you eat them, we'll be part of a solution. And we're going back to what is called rain-fed farming, which a lot of the small farmers in India are doing. I'm compared to them, I'm a bigger farmer, but the average size holding of a farmer in India is less than 2 acres. In that, he has to have everything. We have very, very poor soils where I am, but that doesn't mean that I can't grow something. What I can grow is what grows here. So you could say, yeah, fine, great, but the millets are great for you as well. All of you here sitting here, I can tell you that half of you have type 2 diabetes, or you're on the onset of type 2 diabetes. Maybe not the ones in the 20s, but definitely after that. Millets are low glycemic index. They actually help you health-wise, being an alkaline product. So what is good for my soils is good for you as well. So that is the connection between what I'm doing and what you are or should be. Revolution in India started in the 60s, right? And the revolution in America started in the 40s, right after World War II. They're seeing the effects now. And they actually are more anti-GMO. They have food GMOs in their diets. We don't have it yet. We have cotton. But cotton has already come into our food streams. You might not know it, but cottonseed oil is in your cooking oils. So, but so far, we know that food GMO are still in trials. As a farmer, as an organic farmer or into farming, I cannot and will not support that because there's plenty of food on this planet. The question is not about production. The question is the inequality between who has it and who doesn't have. So, no, yeah. Um, So the reason I wanted to talk about millets was the fact that they are actually adaptable to climate change. And in fact, there will be a time that you will be looking at farmers who are growing millets, and they will be back in our diets because we won't be able to grow rice and wheat as much as we are growing right now. Now, the question is, why quinoa from South America when you have local millets? There's this fad in India today about olive oils and quinoa and all. It's the most ridiculous things that I think that when you have local solutions, why are you looking at global solutions? How can you even think about frying puris in olive oil when the smoking point of that oil is so different? So, so the question that came on seed was that, you've got local seed. There are policies that are happening. These big companies come in, they take over the small seeds. We have 750 varieties of legumes. We have 2,000 varieties of rice. Nobody is growing that today. Because everybody wants Sona Masuri because Sona Masuri has X amount of yield. But Sona Masuri can't grow in the Sundarban soils which are saline. The local varieties grow there. So that is very important that we have a zone specific climate. We eat according to that, we grow according to that. That will be when it works for all of us. So we can't have one box solutions. In the end, it actually comes down to the soil. Your health and the soil health are very, very related. Each teaspoon of soil actually has so much of microbes. They are more alive than you and me. We can't count. Nobody has been able to count. They talk about 35,000, things. In traditional agriculture, the source of all of it was the fertility. So your soils actually are your medium. The soil actually gives you it takes the energy, the air, the water, the roots take that, and then they give you the carbohydrates and the proteins and the oils that you're having. So, you have to be land specific. I can't be listening to you and producing something. I have to listen to my land. And what we do is on the land is we are regenerating the soils. We have green manure crops, green manure trees. These are basically bringing back nitrogen, which is required back to the soil. nitrogen that comes in bastas now is, from my own trees. We do something called mulching and composting, which retains the moisture and keeps the microbes in the soil. And microbial activities, like we make these concoctions with cow dung and sugar syrup and cow urine or any other, buffalo urine. These actually have a lot of microbes and they help the microbial activity. These are some of the things on the farm that we do in terms of mulching. This is mulching. When the tree forms, it forms a layer. Just like you and I wear clothes, the soil needs to wear clothes. The soil's clothes are the cover crops. These are the cover crops. They need to be covered. The soil it should not be bare. That is when erosion occurs. That is when, again, you're talking about a climate change issue. When you retain the water in the soil, you're actually helping the soil, you're helping yourself. Because that water is going down. That's your future water. So a lot of challenges today. It's the trust versus the label. I know there'll be a question on how do I trust you? How do I know you're doing it? Because it's expensive. There are different levels of organic farming or natural farming. And there is an over marketing that is happening right now, where there's this branding and packaging, and it is for value add only for customers at a different range. But it need not be that. There are farmers like me who are trying to reach out customers like you, and in fact we were there at 3 days at Infosys campus exactly doing that. I'm going to the customers and customers are coming to me. So tomorrow at Lamakan we have an organic, what do you call it, market. What can you do? Be informed. That is the first thing. Be informed. If you're not informed, you will not make decisions. So read your newspapers about, policies that the government is making, the PDS system. PDS system brings back millets, we'll grow. Why do you need New Zealand meat? The local meat is here. Local lamb is here, local meats are here, whatever it is. Why do you need to have? And the industrialization of food needs to stop, and you have that power with your purchasing power. There is absolutely no need for us to be cruel. If you are going to be eating meats, why do you need to eat a chicken which is grown in 45 days? That's unnatural. A chicken grows in 90 days. Why are we doing that? We can be empathetic towards the food that we eat if we are eating animals, in that it's not natural. Factory farming is not natural. So please connect the dots, understand where your food comes from, how is it produced and by whom. Are you supporting agriculture or are you supporting agri-business? Please know that. There's a huge difference between that. When you support smaller farmers, you're supporting agriculture. There's a whole part of cultural aspect to agriculture that we are forgetting with all these agro companies coming in. So, and it's a daily choice. When you get up and have a cup of tea or have breakfast, it's a boxed pan thing which you take and put it in your microwave versus maybe a ragi dosa. That is the kind of decisions when you make at your breakfast, lunch and dinner level, it affects the farmers that are growing it. If you don't eat it, I will not grow it. But if I grow it, only few people are buying, prices will be high. So as you demand more, we'll grow more, prices will come down. So I would urge you to understand some of your local choices that you make and the cultural impact of that. Eating seasonally makes a huge difference. So thank you very much.